Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and this is the creature that I made with the cow head and the pro wrestler, and I freaking love it. Looks like it's gonna be sick. So I've decided I'm gonna name this creature the Red Bull, and I'm gonna paint him red. And I am going to use speed paint on his flesh and his hair and stuff, but on his clothes I'm just gonna use regular paint, I think. So let's get started and see how that's gonna turn out. So I have a chocolate bar, reddish brown, and my little boys are outside playing right outside the garage door, being loud. Maybe they don't know I'm recording, because usually they're pretty polite about it. Hey gentlemen, could you not play right there? I'm making a video.
Okay, alright. So do you have to restart? Do you have to restart?
Well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and not restart. So can you please go over there?
Yes.
I already started. I can't restart. Thank you. Now, oh crap, I got some on the arm. I didn't want to do that for sure. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal if we're going to come back over with a red speed paint on that. I think it'll cover up that little bit of red there, that little bit of reddish brown. The boys have their spring break, which is not in conjunction with Easter because Easter's so late this year. So their spring break is just kind of, today was their last day of school and they're psyched. Tell you what, having kids again when you're older is weird and awkward at times. Like, my first sons are growing up and here I am starting over again pretty much with a 7 and 9-year-old. I mean, obviously I've had them since they were babies, but it feels like you started over, as you know, it really does. It's just awkward, and you feel like you kind of know how to be a parent, but at the same time you feel like you're learning new stuff. And then you're in a different world where everything's a lot different than it was, and you know, you can't teach your kids to stand up for other kids anymore or to fight if they have to fight. Now there's just no tolerance for violence at all. Like, you know, if someone's violent to your kid is expected to just put up with it and be okay with it and not retaliate somehow. I don't understand how that's even the standard or how we got to this point. Now, I will say that the other day during my 9-year-old's birthday party, some kids they go to school with were at the party, and one of them knocked down a neighbor kid that's rather small, even though he's the same age as them. And my 7-year-old, even though that kid was pretty big, my 7-year-old did grab him by the shirt and start elbowing him pretty ferociously. And I stopped it because I'm an adult and I'm supposed to. But I was actually kind of like, that's what you get for messing with that little kid. And I'm glad my son had the instinct to protect someone smaller than him. That instinct will take him far in the world. So I think that's all the clothing, besides that little bit there. Yeah, I don't want to encourage violence, but at the same time, I don't want to see somebody getting beat up that's small. I don't think that's all right. And I also think that parents that don't teach their kids not to attack smaller children are probably not the kind of parents you want to be around. if you're a parent. At the same time, you can set an example by in front of them, I guess, kind of saying stuff like that. I don't know if you should, though. Okay. So I think that's going to look pretty good, but we're going to dry that off real quick, and then I'm going to do a lighter tone on there to give it some variation. But lighter tone, I'm going to use this very medium melted chocolate. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to get a really small makeup brush. Not really small, but, you know, a makeup brush that's not as wide and big as that last one. That paint's too wet, so I'm going to use something else. That's too dark. I'm looking. Give me a second here. Here we go. Here's a melted chocolate that's not all water. Again, when you buy this dollar or Walmart paint, it's very inconsistent. And then I think I'm going to get a lighter color like a chestnut. And this has a bit of an orange to it. I'm not cleaning out my brush. I'm just going to grab this. Sweet. Beverage down here. That's a crisis. Okay, now there is something I missed in the back there. So I'm going to have to get that chocolate bar back out. I missed the back side of his loincloth from back here. I'm not too worried about how perfect I get that. I just want to make sure it's not all black like that. All right, sweet. All right. I'm going to get a smaller brush to do my work with here on the with the red. So I'm going to get some masking tape. And a little bit of red. So the red I'm using is, survey says, bright red. No, that's not the one. That's purple. That's yellow. Blood red. Slaughter red. Let's try this. I've not used this a lot. So let's hope it does a nice job. Now, as far as the armbands and elbow pads and stuff, we're going to come back and paint those at the end. That way I don't have to worry about painting around them and messing them up. And if I don't mess them up at all, I can paint them with a speed paint. And if I do mess them up, then I can just paint them with any color to cover that up. So I'm just going to take my time. I think this color's a little darker than what I imagined it as. So I'm not sure if I'm going to like that or not, but we'll see. It might end up being awesome. We don't know. Yeah, I got some on that sleeve. And I'm not sure if I can get that off. Yeah, it's on there now. Okay, no problem. It's not going to ruin this. I will say that this color was so dark that you can't really, it's so thick and so dark that either I didn't mix it up right or I left it open or something, because usually speed paint is not like this. It's not so horrible that you lose all detail like I'm losing here. Oops, got some on his clothes. Really didn't want to do that. I had to come back and redo the eyes since I messed that one up. That's okay though. As it's drying, I'm noticing you can kind of see through there a little better than I thought you could. Also, I'm putting this on pretty thick, and I usually thin it out a little bit or pull it, stretch it out across the tape to make sure it's not so clumpy. But I was just trying to unleash the full power of this dark slaughter red color. This would be a good enemy to charge in and attack your party, like when they think they're safe. Like they're in a saloon or something like that. Or if they're like in a mine and they think it's quiet and safe in there, then this thing comes from behind them, blocking their exit. That's probably the best way to use something like this. Probably would have been good if I'd have had a tail on this guy. I didn't think about that. And I know these are supposed to be pants, but I'm just painting these this red too, because I think that having some more red could be good. Okay. All right. Now we could do some, let's get an off-white color. Put the speed paint where it goes helps. For my off-white color, I'm using this antique white. And I'm going to try to do some cleanup work on the armbands and stuff with it real quick. Nah, it's not going to work. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, it's not gonna be good. All right, we'll air gun this dude. We'll come back and see what we can do. All right, I got an idea. Let's try a very light gray color as an undercoat to cover some of that mess up. I'm going to use this here. It's granite gray. And it's a little thicker. Like I said, these Walmart paints are very hit or miss as to how thick or thin they are. And we're going to use this as our pickup cleanup color for any red splash that we got anywhere we don't want. And that's actually working pretty well. We're going to make sure we get it around these horns. Okay, we got a little bit of red that wasn't quite dry right there. Picked up, but I think it'll be okay. All right. I've decided I don't like this here, so this is going to be hair coming back. Okay. Let's dry that off and hit that again. Oh, crap. Yeah, you saw it too. Dipped it right in the red. Now we have to dry that off and try it again. That's all right. All right, let's see if we can't fix this. It's turning into kind of a pain in the butt at this point. Okay. Nice. All right. I'm going to dry this off, and then we're going to start with the black. So for the black, I'm just using Grim Black Speed Paint, is all this is. You know, my new paint shaker has not arrived yet. I hope it comes soon. I ordered a bunch of pair of sweatpants, aka crafting pants. And they didn't come in right. Only they came in late, and one of them was my size, and the rest were like double X. I'm like, okay, I can't even like try to make that work. Can't even try to make it work, because I'll just be like my butt all hanging out and whatnot. It'll remind me of the 90s and sagging. And it'll be just too devastating for me. All right, so that red can get buried by that black pretty easily. And that means we're going to use it on these two. And probably didn't have to use black here. Could use gold or anything, really. Gold would have been cool. A little bit of black splash going on to here. I think it's going to be all right. I'm just going to kind of leave it. There's some white under there I missed where I should have had red. I'll have to come back and touch that up too. So they keep finding dead moles because the neighbor's cats just run wild and kill the shit out of moles and whatever else is in the hood. And they keep thinking they're finding rats, and it just cracks me up. Like the other day, they're like, "There's a dead rat outside." And I went outside, and I was like, "That is a mole." And then I'd heard my son saying, "There's a dead rat," and I feel bad for it. It's squished. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. It's tragedy. Another mole has been lost to the cat population. Oh no, what will we do? We will have to live in a world without enough moles. And too many cats that are not hungry. So you really want to make sure you get into all the little what has its and whoosy bit spots with this, because that white dry brush is super noticeable. I'm making a video, sir. Go find your mother. I don't know what you need.
I know, it's just that,
It's just nothing. I can't edit this. Your mother's in the house somewhere. She didn't leave.
It's just that, my pipe is like jammed.
Bring it up here and you'll have to deal with it later. I'm sorry. Okay. Simple. Decent. So for the horns, I'm going to go use my favorite color on earth. Pavement. Okay. Something like that. I think because of how vibrant some of this is, I do want to kind of toss a wash on there, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll see. I want to lighten up that hair. But first, let me get in here with some black and fix the back of that horn. There we go. Okay, for the base. We're going to get some Dollar Tree Deep Brown going. Yeah, just be careful we don't get it on our boots. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush to get around there because I really don't want to get it on the feet too much. I mean, a dab or two won't hurt, but I don't want a bunch on there. So I'm just going to come in here with that. Then we'll do the regular painted desert stuff. I'm gonna get some watered down territorial beige first. We don't need a whole bunch of that, just some. And then we're going to water down some khaki. Dab it around in there. Okay. We're done with those. Let's hit this with some hot air before we lighten up the hair. So to lighten up the hair, I'm just going to get a soft bristled brush, something that's plasticky and crappy like that. I'm going to get a light to medium gray. I'll be using elephant for mine. I'm just going to lighten that up some. Then, I'm going to take a little bit more off there. I'm going to drag it across the horns and lighten those up some. Okay. I'm just going to hit some of this. Just give it a little bit of, oh shit. See that? I hit the base and pull some of that brown up on there. We're just going to wipe that away. Okay. And we'll air gun it again. dots on this miniature that are just white showing through. And to cover those up, I'm going to pick a generic color that has nothing to do with what I'm doing. So it's going to be this desolate brown, which is like a green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through here with a small brush. Anywhere where there's a white dot or a spot that I'm not sure how it's going to look, I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of that. And cover that up. Why use a random different color? I don't know. It was just an idea I had. Maybe it'll add something to the mini, maybe it won't. But we'll know soon enough. A little bit of white on there. Any white there. A little bit of white showing. Okay. I'm going to drag it along there because there's some white showing on the edge of that too. I'm just going to let it soak in there and kind of cover that up. I don't see any more white besides the eyes. Doesn't mean there isn't any, it just means I don't see any. There's some right there. Okay. And that comes down to just bad job on my initial coating. Let's get some off-white and do these eyes up. We want these eyes to look good. Sorry about that. I had to run away for a minute. My son walked out in front of a truck like a genius. You know what? Let's not use red. Let's change it up and use yellow. Let's get an ugly yellow. Demonic yellow. All right, let's get a micro brush or a fractional brush. And then we need a black dot. I'm gonna hit this with the air gun real quick. And we'll do that little black dot real quick. Now I'm getting a little more paint than I actually need because I need to okay, let's do the base. Sorry, lady, Mrs. Doom here isn't helping me out too much. She's not keeping an eye on things for me so I can get my video done real quick. I don't know the hell she's doing, but must be super important compared to what I'm doing, so I apologize. I know it's Hard to believe, but you know, you're a dad even when you're trying to do other shit besides be a dad. You're always a dad, so he's kind of got to buckle up and dad it on. And I do apologize. I'm going to ask her to do a little more helping because I kind of keep track of everybody all the time around here. Except for when I'm doing videos. I'm just going around the outside of this checker piece that I used for a base and doing the parts that aren't ground, you know, that look like they're a base. And this is what makes it, kind of separates it, makes it a game piece, really. And I enjoy this part of it. Creating that barrier where the monster ends and the real world begins. I was going to put a wash on it, but I just don't feel like I really need one. But I will hit a couple little spots where there's some white still. Like right there. There's a little bit there. I'm just hitting it with that same green color that doesn't make any sense on the miniature. I think that's all of it. Sweet. So there he is. The Red Bull. Maybe I'll call him Gorgonax, the Red Bull. That's a cool name, Gorgonax. Put some of these brushes back. Oh. All right. So, with the exception of some craziness, like my son running in the road and people screaming and fighting at the bottom of the driveway there, it's been a pretty uneventful video. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and leave a comment. That's the kind of stuff that helps the channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it. I think that I missed a piece of red under here. I'm just going to get this brush. There we go. A little bit of that red that's still wet. Just drag it across there. There we go. Like it was red the whole time. But yeah, do all this stuff that makes the channel grow. It helps us, and I appreciate it. And you know, if you want to see more videos, it contributes. I'm going to make them anyways, but I have a feeling that some of you guys aren't even seeing when you get a video, because I'm watching other YouTube channels saying that. But I don't know. I really don't know. And I could probably figure out how to figure out that, but I don't want to spend the effort. I just want to make some monsters and some terrain and have fun. Anyways, come to the Discord and come buy some miniatures. Not these miniatures, real Dungeon Swag miniatures, high quality, beautiful miniatures, www.dungeon-swag.com. There's a discount code and a link in the description. Please check all that out, and we'll see you on Discord too, where you can show us your crafts and we'll show you ours. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.